Kitco Mining's special coverage of the Precious Metal Summit is brought to you by Nucor Gold.
Aura Minerals is a copper and gold producer with a handful of projects it is turning into mines. The CEO is Rodrigo Barbosa. Rodrigo, welcome back to Kitco.
Thank you, Mike. Nice to be here.
You have a couple of balls in the air right now as far as projects. Help order them for us. What are you working on?
Yes, we are growing from 250,000 gold equivalent ounces to 450,000 by 25 annualized, which is in the next 2 years. And we are doing this by developing three big projects. Number one is Almas, that we just built on time, on budget, and recently announced the commercial production. So the next quarter we'll see the results from Almas already. And then we just announced also the initial construction of Borborema, $188 million, securing $100 million already of funding. So we start the construction of Borborema, and we'll start ramping up by early 25. And then we also have the project Matupa, which is, we already have the feasibility study. We are finishing the environmental licensing to be able to start construction by the first semester next year. So when we complete these additional two projects on the top of the one that we already announced the commercial production, we'll be at the 450,000 gold equivalent ounces.
Those are a lot of projects that you have going on. Congratulations on the growth there. What are the synergies that you have between the projects that you have there? Because you're going to have a lot of pieces that you're going to be keeping an eye on.
Yeah, most of the synergies comes from the team. The technical team that built Almas is the one that now is building Borborema. And when we are almost wrapping up Borborema, we will start construction of Matupa. So the team, not only the synergy in terms of cost, but also on knowledge. Everything we learned from developing and building Almas, the good lessons and the bad lessons, now we are applying to Borborema, and we'll do the same to Matupa as well.
I'm not going to say it pronouncially, but Borborema, I think you had a feasibility study on it. What was the highlights?
Highlights, it starts with the reserves of 814,000 gold ounces. But the M&I, measure indicator, is 2 million. And the reason that we have only 815 is because we need to move a road of 5 kilometers that we are already in the process of doing so. So the project is we'll start building with 815 gold ounces on reserves. And then along the way in the next 3 years, we believe we'll be able to move the road, and then we will add additional 1.2 million ounces into the reserves of the project. And only with the 815,000 ounces of reserves, this project already generating after tax, non-leverage, 22% internal rate of return. Leverage will be over 42 with the average market prices at 1,700. So we are very confident that these returns are going to be even further increased once we unlock these additional 1.2 million ounces.
Now, the good news for miners like yourself is that gold has been rising over the past handful of years, and it seems to kind of found a home around the 1,900 an ounce US level right now. The bad news, of course, has been the increased inflation costs. What are you seeing right now in terms of building a mine? Has costs been rising? Are costs leveling off?
Yeah, we saw most of the inflation impact in the operations. First was back in 2021, a little bit in 2022. This year, we are not seeing much of the inflation impact. Fortunately, we were able to fight back the inflation on the last 2 years with management decisions and cutting costs and improving efficiency. On the new projects, on the capital side, we also saw the same 15-20% increase. And then we're trying also, Almas, we built on budget while the inflation was about 20%. And the project, we had budget before the inflation came. But we could manage to build on budget, mostly because of people at the local level making decisions either on the negotiation or changing the specification of some products, or even scaling down some of the investments, so that we could really contain the costs and build this project on budget despite the high inflation.
Now, what's your all-in sustaining now, and what are you projecting as you go out, as you expand?
Yeah, our all-in sustaining is between 1150 and 1250. That's the guidance that we gave for this year. The project that we are building, either from Almas that already started operation, then we have Borborema and Matupa, all of them has below 1,000. So we should be growing production while we'll be reducing our cost along the next 2 or 3 years, mostly because the project has more favorable conditions to produce at the lower cash costs.
Now, copper is a new oil. You've heard that before, although copper has been kind of in a bit of a down spot right now. What are you looking at in terms of projects, in terms of you grow right now? Are you looking for copper, gold, or both works for Wet Ore?
Now we look both. We already have a copper mine in Mexico. Two-thirds of our revenues come from gold, one-third copper. But as we are now growing mostly in gold, developing these 3 projects, and then we like the balance of copper and gold. So we are now looking alternatives of M&As also in copper so that we can keep a healthy balance between copper and gold in our portfolio.
Now, a big milestone in Brazil was Sigma Lithium coming online. What's the support you're seeing for critical minerals in Brazil?
I think Brazil will be supportive for critical minerals as long as you are on the highest ESG levels, as long as you are very serious hiring the people, maintaining local labor, and training the local labor. Brazil, it's a developing country, needs more jobs. So anyone, any foreign company or national company that wants to invest in the country will be supportive, as long as you do on the right way. Right?
Is Brazil a good place to work? How's the political situation?
No, I think Brazil has been very stable, independent from political situation. The institutions in Brazil are pretty strong, which avoids volatility when you have a change in government.
Mm-hmm. You have operations throughout Latin America. How do you assess political risks from where you operate?
Well, the way we look at Latin America is sometimes more important than the country is the municipality, the communities that you are surrounded with. Of course, you need to understand the federal rules and the environmental licensing process, but whoever is going to guarantee or prevent you to operate in a place is not going to be the federal government, it's going to be the local government and the local communities. So we really go deep analyzing and talking with the communities, making sure that they are welcoming us, explaining what we want to do, what's our project, full transparency, and if they are okay, we move forward. If they are not okay, we know that is not going to happen. You cannot fight against the local communities.
Now, you have a lot of projects that you've taken on. You look at deals right now when you're out there. I imagine this environment right now with the markets being down, there should be a lot of like projects or assets you can look at right now.
Yeah, it's been tough market mostly for those that need to raise capital. Our shares has been also undervalued. It's not moving much as long as, and then we announced commercial production of Almas. We announced the construction of Borborema, and our shares is still at a lower level. But on the other side, as you mentioned, the gold price is at a reasonable level, above 1,900, and our all-in sustaining cash cost below 1,200. So the margins are interesting for us. So we are producing cash flows, and we've been able to use this cash flows to develop the projects, the 3 projects that I mentioned to you, pay dividends, and we also look in M&A activities. And this difficult market for us, who is in acquisition mode, kind of is good for us.
Now, there's been an uptick in the number of extreme weather events that you see that miners are reporting against, whether it's going to be, flooding or whether it's going to be access to water issues right now as well too. Is this something that you're planning for, or is this something that you kind of see in your operations right now?
No, we see some gradual increase in rainfall, mostly in our operations, particularly Brazil and Honduras, more intense rains. So we do plan for this. Right now, every budget we go, I think, so what's the plan for the water next year? Let's imagine that we'll have a rain of every 1 in 100 years, or even more. So we try to play on the safer mode that once we know that this can increase in the next 5-10 years.
Milestones over the next 12 months, Rodrigo?
Well, we have a lot. We have then to produce gold in Almas that we just declared commercial production. We have to implement a Borborema project that we want to start the ramp up by 25, early 25. We have to finish licensing Matupa. We need to initiate construction of Matupa. And on the top of that, we continue to do significant exploration investments to increase the life of mine of all our assets. So we should see also interesting results from the exploration program that we are undergoing right now.
Rodrigo, always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here again.
My name is Michael McRae on behalf of Kitco Mining here at the Precious Metals Summit. Subscribe for more news from Beaver Creek, Colorado.
Kitco Mining's special coverage of the Precious Metals Summit is brought to you by Nucor Gold.